Good evening, everybody. This is Robin with another edition of Horror Pop After Midnight. I just got back from Indianapolis from the Days of the Dead horror, horror film festival with a lot of talented indie, horror film makers and stuff. And I'm gonna be posting a lot of interviews on my social media pages at Horror Pop After Midnight. Now let's get to business. My guest tonight is actress Ashlee Lawhorn. How's it going, Ashlee?
I am doing really well. Thanks for asking, Robin. How are you doing?
Pretty good. It's great to finally meet you. I missed you at the Indie Film Zone over in Miamisburg, Ohio.
I know. Well, okay, whenever I walked in, I do have to say I V-lined it to the restroom. So I saw you, and then it was like straight to the restroom. So I was really sad that I didn't see you then, but I'm happy that you reached out to do this because it's going to be really fun. Yeah,
now let's talk about the short you're in, which we saw, called Stoned. Tell me a little bit about Stoned and the character you portray in the movie.
Yeah, so Stoned is a really just wacky, dark comedy story. Basically, we've got these two stoner best friends.
Yeah, we got these two stoner best friends, which is, played by her and Kennedy Hancock. So, what was your chemistry with Kennedy Hancock?
So with Kennedy, she is amazing. She's one of those people they're really good easy to catch up with, easy to get to know. And we didn't know each other before filming, but we were able to catch up through FaceTimes and different things like that. And so we pretty much just instantly clicked. She's super easygoing and just so sweet. So, and honestly, she played that mellow stoner so well without even having to try. So that was a really good experience, I think, for me too, to have her by my side.
Yeah, your character you portray too. You were very like a very angry young lady and stuff, and your facial expressions were priceless.
Thank you. Yeah, Jenny is a very, very out there character. She's very unhinged, very psychotic, and I like to think that she takes her inside thoughts and turns them into outside thoughts, which most people don't do, and she acts on her impulses a lot. And so it was really fun to play her, because most of the time, I mean, I get cast usually as the either smiley girl next door type of lead or something like that, so it was nice to be able to play into those darker parts of myself and feel not judged for going completely psycho on somebody. So that's kind of cool. So
were you the ideal character for Jenny when you met Joseph Cox on the film?
Yeah, so actually he saw me in 2023 at the Winter Film Fest, and I was in What Are the Odds playing in that film, and he really just, I guess, thought that I had a lot of potential, and so he wanted to write something that was just more of a challenging role, like something different that could showcase a lot of my acting and the stretch that I can have. And so he reached out to me one day and was like, hey, I have this script. I've got a role that I wrote for you. Give it a read. Let me know if you want to be in it and all that good stuff. And I read it, and I am a sucker for anything dark humor, dark comedy stuff. So as soon as I read it, I was like, this is amazing. Like two dumb girls, like getting stoned and then going on this adventure. I was like, I'm in immediately.
Yeah, when we both saw it at the Indie Film Zone, the whole theater was sold out. It was like a packed house, and everybody was enjoying the heck out of it. They were laughing. They were loving it. They were really getting into. So what was going through your head when you found out everybody really liked that film, Stoned?
It was such a relief, to be honest, because you never know how somebody's going to perceive the work that you've done or anything like that. And so just sitting there, you're kind of anxious. So I was a little anxious, and then the laughs come when they're supposed to hit, and it makes it all worth it. And I mean, I was just all smiles looking around at everybody, and I'm like, man, that part really hit. It landed the way we wanted it to land. And it's just so cool when you get to see people enjoy your work.
So are you management material?
I am management material, yes.
I just love that line, man. I've been going around doing that to people, going, are you management material? And they'll be looking at me weird.
That's amazing. amazing. I absolutely love that part because it's so random too that she would look over in the middle of this. She's about to do the deed, and then, am I managerial material? Like, what's going on?
Oh, that's pretty wild. It was a great film. You've been in a lot of like indie horror films, man. You're like a indie horror, like fangirl. Not fangirl, I mean final girl. Excuse me, not fangirl, final girl.
Yeah, no. Hey, either way, I'm both, I feel like. I'm a fangirl too, so I'm not ashamed of it.
That's right. I just found out you did a Wayward Sister Supernatural fan film. How'd you become part of that? And before that, were you a huge fan of the Supernatural universe with Dean and Sam Winchester?
Yes, I love the series Supernatural. So that was one thing. I was just on backstage one day, and I already watched the series, big fan, and I happened to see Wayward Sisters come up on backstage, and so which is like a casting site, and so I was like, okay, I'll see if they have a part for me. Well, the only part that really stood out was a character named Riley, and it was open to all genders, and so I was like, they wrote it mainly for a guy, I think. I said, let me step in, guys. Let me do this. So I auditioned for it, and it went really well. They liked me, thankfully, and pulled me into that project and made Riley a girl, and then kind of just adjusted some of the writing so that it could be a woman at that point. And, that whole crew, a lot of them were from LA, from Indiana, just Rhode Island, all over, and just amazing, wonderful people to work with.
I bet you had a blast on there. How much fun did you have playing Riley in that whole fan film?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it because that was actually another character that I was able to get a little dark with and kind of had to trick the audience in a way. So I acted, I want to say more so like myself in the beginning of the film, being that the sweet, just kind of go with the flow girl. And then, you get to see the twist at the end, and I got to kind of let that freak flag fly at the end a little bit.
So how dark did you get?
Yeah, very menacingly dark.
Oh, now I'm afraid to see you because you're such a nice young lady, and it's like, do I want to watch it and see her get all twisted? Yeah, I will.
Yeah. I would love that. Yeah, no, not too dark, but pretty menacing. Yeah, I hope it comes off as menacing, or else, maybe I should stick to the nice girl that just smiles. I don't know.
Yeah, I was stalking you a little bit on social media, and I found out you played the drums, man. You teared them on the drums. So who are your influences that got you into drumming?
Oh, gosh. So back in the day, really my brothers, who was my biggest influence for starting to play the drums. He was in marching band when I was like really little, and I saw that, and I saw people watching him and how cool it was, and I thought, I want to do that. Like, that is such a cool instrument. So I ended up joining our band, 5th grade or whatever, and then just went on to really get into playing the drum set, and after that, kind of got some influences of like, I really love Travis Barker. I love his work.
Nice.
Tommy Lee is another one that I like a lot. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Other than that, I kind of just collect. I don't have a certain style, I don't think. Just love listening to certain types of music, and play what I feel like I want to play.
So, do you have a unique style on how you play the drums? Do you write your uniqueness when you play the drums?
So I tried to figure out if I have a style or not. I don't necessarily think I do, but then when I watch myself and I watch others play, because, you can always learn something from watching other people. So I'll watch somebody else and I'm like, man, they flow really well. And then I'll watch myself and I feel like just a monkey hammering the drums with sticks. Like, I don't see myself playing like as smoothly as other people play. So maybe I'm kind of a little more harsh or wild on the drums. I don't know, but it's something that has like popped out to me. So,
do you twirl the drumsticks? Come on, you gotta look cool twirling the drumsticks.
Oh, I do. I do actually, and I've tried to incorporate it in some videos too. But I'll tell you, like, it's just like self-taping sometimes. Whenever I set up and I'll play and record myself, then I'll have to do like different takes because something technologically didn't work, and then I'm back to phase one, and you can get frustrated and all that good stuff, but playing live is even better, because then it's like you don't have time to think. You don't have time to think, oh crap, let's do it over, guys. It's like, no, just keep going, and it flows really well.
So, were you ever part of a band, or did any bands come up and ask you to play drums?
Yeah, so I've actually been a part of a couple bands. Once I graduated high school, one of my siblings was in a rehab connected to a church, and so they actually needed a drummer in their praise team. And I was friends with the pastor's daughter, so she's like, dude, play the drums. Like, I've seen you play. Get up here, kill it, whatever. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. So I did that for about 6 years, and from that, I also am in a band called the Thunder Monkeys, and we'll play at different events in Southern Ohio, and just all the fun stuff. But I definitely don't do as much with drumming as what I do with acting. But I would absolutely love to incorporate drumming more so into my acting world. And it seems like with a couple of roles that I'm starting to get now and auditions that are coming my way, people are seeing that and letting me do that and be like a drummer in films. So it's kind of working out.
I like that name, the Thunder Monkeys. How did it come up with a wild name like that, the Thunder Monkeys?
Honestly, I couldn't even tell you, because whenever it was told to me, I was like, really, the Thunder Monkeys? And Chad, our band leader, was like, yeah, of course, the Thunder Monkeys. Why not? And I'm like, you know what? All right, we'll go with it. That's cool.
That name kind of reminds me of that indie horror film film back in the early 90s called Bandwagon. And it was about an indie band, traveling, trying to make it. And their name of their band was Circus Monkey.
Oh, that's hilarious. Hey, you twin flames right there. Twin flame bands, I guess.
Exactly. You got to check out Circus
Yes.
Monkey and Bandwagon. That movie was, dude, it's a classic.
I will. I'll have to check it out, because I haven't seen that before. So that'd be a good one for me to catch up on.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Also, you were in another film, Friends Forever. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Friends Forever gives that classic 80s horror vibe. So it's, a group of 4 friends goes to this house to throw a party. They all have their totally different personalities. You've got the prissy girl, the jock, the nervous introvert. You've got, so many other different characters. And it was so much fun to play, because really they shot it like it was in the 80s. Like the film-wise, the shots they got, the location was absolutely terrifying. It was an old house with just a ton of dolls lying around, and it was creaky, and everything was kind of crazy. So it really set the mood quite early when we started filming, and basically filmed all day. And it's my character in the film is Cassandra, and she is the introverted girl that's kind of hesitant about throwing a party in this house, because she obviously gets the bad vibes from it. And you just kind of see these guys get thrown into this chaotic and wild night after making the decision to throw the party.
So the house they filmed it in, was it like a pretty old house? It was like an older home, or?
Yeah, so the woman who owned the home, I guess her family had lived there like way back in the early 1900s, and they just kept it on their property, and they would show, like, I think they did Halloween houses and things like that with it for a while, and then they let us come in, and we asked about like blood and all that stuff, if we could get it everywhere, and she said yeah. She's like, go for it. If you get it all over the floor and the walls, she's like, that just adds to the effect of the hauntedness, so go ahead. And we went crazy, and it was a really cool time, though.
That sounds fun. I definitely need to check that movie. You got my attention. I need to see this.
Yeah, definitely. Check it out. It's on Reveal now, so if you go to Reveal and just look up Friends Forever, give it a watch, and yeah, definitely let me know your thoughts on it.
I definitely will. I'll definitely do a review. So, you love, like, horror films, so what got you into falling in love with horror films and doing a lot of indie horror films as an actress?
Yeah, so when I was little, my mom is basically my horror inspiration all the time. She is a huge horror fan, and I just remember, being little, and her, like, buying a movie, a weeknight movie or whatever, and it would be Jeepers Creepers, or it would be It, or, all of the old classics,
Yeah.
just, like, horror movies, Halloween. And so we just kind of became a tradition. Like, her and I both will, like, we watch horror movies anytime we hang out. I have a horror room, actually, where I just collect a lot of horror stuff.
Really?
Yeah, and she's definitely, like, helped me kind of, I don't know, grow my love for all things horror. And, yeah, so she's the inspiration. And I think just getting into, like, the indie horror side of things, I love horror movies. I love everything horror, so it kind of just is an easy fit to really throw myself into the indie horror scene.
So how big is your horror room, and what do you have?
It's not super big. It's got, like, a couple of little odd-end things.
Yeah.
I pieced together, like, a couple of things that I really like that stand out to me are some of these horror puzzles that I put together. Okay. I like to do those and frame them and kind of, like, hang them throughout the house. I also just got, this isn't so horror, but it's kind of, like, just goofy, off the wall. I just got a 6'5" Attack on Mars, or Attack of Mars Attacks, or whatever, alien, and that's hanging out in the room. And so I've got a couple of little odd-end things like that just hanging out. So
do you also have a huge physical media collection with a lot of horror?
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome, because I'm a strong supporter of physical media, and the thing that makes me mad right now, because it's slowly shrinking and all that, man, we can't have that.
Oh, it is. Yeah, no, and I always collect. Anytime I go out, I'm like, I'm buying something new here, something new there, because I'm like, there's just something, I don't know, kind of nostalgic about it, too, to have that where you can just pop it in. You don't have to wait on, like, streaming services or anything like that, so it's kind of just cool to have that on hand. Since
your mom got you into horror at a young age, what was that first horror film she got you into?
Oh, man. So yeah, I'd say all of them, but one that really stuck out was Nightmare on Elm Street when I was little. Okay. She had me watching that, and also, funny enough, The Leprechaun.
Oh, nice.
That little guy scares the shit out of me. He's so scary. I loved The Leprechaun, but he always freaked me out. And him and Freddy Krueger, they gave me a lot of nightmares when I was little, but I loved it.
Shoot, when I was younger, the two villains that gave me a lot of nightmares was the tall man from the original Phantasm films.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. That would freak me out, too.
Just having him and having that deep voice saying, "Come here, boy." You know, does that always freaks me out when I see it. And then another one that really gets me is the original Halloween, the 70s Halloween.
Yeah.
Which I love because you don't see any blood, or they're not like brutal kills or anything. It messes with your mind, and when you see the kills or what he's doing next, and the music's part, like the character of the film, you can see it in your mind, and it gives you that fear factor.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that film is so well done for the budget that they had, and like all of those little workarounds that they did by like not showing blood and things like that. So cool. I love that movie. Oh, like I said, those are the best kind. Yeah. Have you ever been to a horror convention? I have not. No, I need to. I need to get myself out there and go to one, but it's on my list. Yeah, you definitely need to do like Days of the Dead and Horror Hound. Those is real great, and the cool thing about it is the horror community is so awesome. They'll open their arms to you, and they're just so friendly, not judgmental, and they don't look at you we're going, "Oh no, look, that's a horror freak." Yeah. Oh man, I love that. Honestly, like that's totally my vibe. Is the horror plus having people that are open-minded and nice is like everything. It's everything. So that'll get me there quicker than anything, I think. Another film you're going to get ready to do, I read the premise of it. It's called Best Wishes and Good Luck. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm excited about that one. Spencer Martinez reached out to me and basically was like, "Hey, I've got this script. Give it a look." Kind of similar to what Joe did, but not writing the character for me, I don't believe. Yeah, send me that script, and it's so enticing and intriguing. Like, after I read it, there's a lot more to it. There are a lot of layers in there that they don't really explain in the info in the bio about the film. So I'm really excited to dive in with those guys and that crew and kind of, just make a fun little dramatic story for people to see that a lot of people, I think, can relate to. I bet. So what are some other projects you're going to be involved in? I will be filming actually this month a feature film called Body of Walter. That'll be filming with Thomas Angeletti and his team.
Nice.
And so for that, it is basically another type of 80s friend group type film, right? And they end up going camping though. And when they go camping, they run into this dead body of Walter, and they end up just going through this kind of psychedelic / like illness type thing that kind of takes them over, and they can't decide, is it aliens? Is it monsters? Is it, what is going on? Like, why is all this stuff happening? So you kind of get to see them kind of figure out all of their personal issues and the physical issues with the place they're at too. So.
Since you've been doing a lot of acting in indie horror, is there any other genres you would do besides horror as well, or are you mostly focusing on horror?
No, so I do love horror, and I've done quite a bit of horror stuff, but honestly, I'm open to all genres. I've also done quite a few dramas and thrillers. Mm-hmm. I'd say the horror films have been the quickest to release and put their content out there. But no, I've got a cute little rom-com called What Are the Odds? It's on YouTube right now. And then there is another film called Hello, It's Me that I filmed a couple of years ago. And it's a feature film and has to do with like occult type stuff. Not scary, not horror, but more thriller occult type stuff. And yeah, there've been, I love doing genre. I love doing drama as well as horror and all that good stuff. I would absolutely love to do more comedy, though. I wish people would write more comedies around here and let me be in it.
I can picture you being in a good comedy. That's true. You don't really see that many indie film comedies at all. They're like very rare and few.
Yeah, and that's why I got really excited when Joe sent me the Stone script, because I read it and I was like, oh, finally, and dark comedy in it. I was like, this is the best. It gave me that movie really reminds me of Broad City. I don't know if you've seen that or not, but the Buddy Buddy Girl series, and it is just so funny. They're just two idiots trying to survive in life, and I felt like we kind of pulled that in a little bit to Stone, so.
Since you're going to be doing a lot of acting for a while, do you ever see yourself in the near future maybe writing your own like horror film, like a short or a feature?
I actually do want to start writing. So my friends are probably annoyed by me at this point, because I have reached out to a few fellow actor friends who also write and kind of pick their brains on, how do you start? Where do you go, when you start to write these things? And finally, I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to start writing. So whether or not it'll be a horror film, I don't know. But I am going to start writing a couple more things and just kind of see where that takes me, because it's part of the creative process, Who knows? It could even help more with my acting. So
that would work. I would definitely see one of your films if you did a shorter feature. That'd be quite pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to it, seeing you like spread your wings out.
Yeah, hopefully I don't fall when I try to fly, but yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Exactly. That's a lot of good confidence in me.
Oh, you do. I mean, you seem like you're like a young, talented actress. You can like do anything. I mean, it's like I said, like in Stone, you nailed that role to the T. It felt like that was like really you. Do you see a little of yourself in Jenny?
I actually do, yeah. So I wouldn't say a whole lot, because she is absolutely unhinged. But I don't want to scare people off here, but I definitely do see parts of myself in there, especially with the rage parts, or, whenever we all have that primal just instinct sometimes, or that anger, and it's like, in a safe space like that, knowing that, there are parameters around you, you're allowed to like go out and let that go and be in that mode of just primal anger. And so, yeah, I would say like the faces, the everything is a part of me. It's not one that I necessarily show or do anything like that, but deep down there, she's there, and she comes out when there are parameters. So, yeah. Okay,
another question. Say that you, Joseph, and Kennedy were in a horror film together. Okay, who would die first? Who would be the instigator and who would be the killer?
I kind of feel like, oh man, I feel like I would end up dying first for some reason. I feel like I would try to be brave.
What?
And then be the one that, I do. I feel like I'd try to be brave and save everybody and end up dying. I feel like Joe would be the instigator and Kennedy would be the killer. I could see her being a silent killer.
I could see that because she has that like little innocent look about her and her persona, and that little smile.
Yeah. Can't let it fool you.
Yeah. You don't know, man, because I got a chance to interview her at the film festival. She was a fun interview. I mean, you just don't know, man. Who knows? Maybe she'll end up being a serial killer.
I know. I'm like, you can't trust her, man. No, but honestly, I feel like that would be a kind of a funny combo. And Joe instigating. I mean, he's got the storytelling mind, so I'm sure he'd be pushing the agenda on her, like, trying to get me.
He'd be testing your guys' limits.
100%. Yeah, he'd get some joy out of that.
He'd be like sitting there going, yeah, that's right. I'll just sit right here and let it play out.
Yeah, I'll just let them go at it. Like, he knows who the killer is the whole time and just lets me be there, too.
And then he has that mind, and after the movie's over, he's like, yes, I survived. I'm going to be in the sequel.
Yeah, right? Oh, man, I love it.
Yeah, he'll be skipping into the sunset through a cemetery somewhere going, I survived.
Yeah. Lucky dog. He would, too. He would. And give him a piece of my mind from the grave. That's what I would do.
That's right. You need to haunt him. So wherever you go, you just haunt him like in this house and everywhere.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. He's not getting rid of me.
All right. So where can everybody find you on social media to see what you're doing next?
Yeah, so I keep my Instagram updated, I think probably most up to date with everything. It's Ashlee, ASHLEE Lawhorn or underscore on those. And then Facebook is a good place as well, just Ashlee Lawhorn. You can also check me out on IMDb, or, you can go to my website, ashleelawhorn.com. The website actually has more of everything that I'm doing, and it's got my past projects on there. You can click links, go watch the movies, that kind of stuff. So if anyone gets a chance, go check it out.
Thank you so much for coming on. It was a blast. I'd love talking to you.
I know. This has been so fun. No one's asked me a lot of horror questions or anything like that yet, and I'm like, I've been dying to get something like this, so thank you.
You're welcome. No one hasn't asked you any horror questions. Have you been on any of their podcasts?
Yeah, I've been on some podcasts and I've done some interviews, and I think I've been the one bringing up more of the horror stuff, so it's really nice that that's kind of a focus too on what we're talking about. It's awesome.
That's what my show's all about. It's all about horror. I'm going to be asking some horror stuff.
Heck yeah, man. It's right up my alley. So I love it. I've enjoyed myself.
All right. And everybody, thank you for listening to Horror Pop After Midnight. Have a great